Today's Access Lunchtime topic is going to be presented by Crystal.
I'm Teresa Comer. I'm from Minnesota, and I've been working with Access since before the turn of the century.
I'm Colin, or Isle of Dogs as it says on here. I'm from Somerset in the UK, and I've also been developing Access since around 1997, I think.
I'm Adrian. I've been interested in doing AddIns before. I never quite worked out how to do it, so I'm quite interested in listening to this.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Leo. I'm calling in from California. Excited to hear Crystal present.
Crystal is a longtime Access MVP. She's been teaching and building applications with Access for more than 25 years, and she shares her code and tools on a site called AccessUserGroups.org. I'm going to paste that in there for you. And also AccessMVP.com. She makes videos for YouTube and writes articles for a monthly magazine. Today, she's going to talk about Access add-ins, making and using them. So please, without further ado, take it away, Crystal.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here and show you some things that you can download. I put together a web page. Just go to MS Access Gurus, go to Tools, and then from here, click on Add-ins. And I added this to use as a guide for this meeting, how to make an add-in. And I'm going to be referring to it quite a bit because when I started building add-ins, there really still isn't a lot of documentation. And I forget too, and so I need a good way to go back and refer. So here I can probably change this. After today, I put a little blurb at the top about the presentation, this one that's happening right now, which I'll change after the meeting. Here's how to install an add-in, how to create one, information about the USys Reg info table, database properties, how to properly uninstall them. Now, one of mine that had a problem installing, I couldn't uninstall it, so you get to see that error. I can't find it yet. So I've figured out, though, that it doesn't really affect anything else working properly. Then I talk a little bit about the registry. Here there's a section on errors, which is probably going to get bigger. And if any of you run into things that you know a fix for, let me know and I'll add it in. I made a 12-minute video tutorial like half a year ago, so you can watch that. There's some little code examples you can download. Oh, yeah, this is good. I just added these two today. These are templates. I'm probably getting a bit ahead of myself. Let me go back to the top. Then there's some other links here too. The first thing I'm going to do is I have a database open. Now, just to show you what this database is, I'm just going to start opening some of the tables and resizing them. Yeah, I think I'll hide those columns. I love the quick access toolbar. And so this is a database it's a light version of a database to keep track of questions and answers. Let's say I just start opening some tables. Here's my questions table. And these are questions for school. You know, they might be about math or they might be about some other thing. And so when you have questions, you have choices. So you can pick an answer. But let's say I get these all resized the way I want them to be so I can see everything. And click around. And now, for some reason, I have to close Access. Well, I don't want to have to go through all that again. So, and here you're going to get to see the error. So I'm going to go to Add-ins. Oh, it didn't happen. I was all ready for it. And I'm going to go to the Workspace menu. And I'm going to save it. And it just saved the workspace for 4 tables. So now I can close these tables. And I'll save that layout also. And now if I want to restore that, I just restore, and it restored them. Now, where did that information go? Well, I didn't want to put a table in your front end, so I made a temporary database, and I put the table there. So this stores the workspace position, just the tables, the information that it needs to restore these windows. So this is an add-in. Any database I have open, I can open this, save the layout, and it will create its own little table right here in my front end, whatever I'm using. Now, this obviously creates a file. So what it does is it creates a directory called Strive for Peace below wherever your database is, and it puts a file in there called S4P_workspace, and then it links to the table. So all of that is actually in that add-in. So you can see, because of the add-in, which we'll get to shortly, is something that you can download and look at the source code for. So that's one of the add-ins. I'll just really quickly, I think, go back to the web page and go to this section. So on the add-in section, we were looking at the how to make an add-in page. But here's these 4 other ones that I'm going to be showing you. And I just showed you this one, save and restore table size and position. So you can go get that. Are there any questions about that add-in? Does anybody want to say anything? Another add-in is Document SQL. And I don't have very much in here, but I do have a couple queries, and I have a few forms and some reports. So the forms and reports definitely will have a record source if they're bound, and they'll also have combo boxes or list boxes. So this documents all of that. But right now, I'm just going to do the queries. So I click on that, and you can't see, but it opened up Word on my other monitor. Now it's done creating the documentation, and where it put it, and I need to probably make this consistent. But anyway, it created a directory called documentation under your database, and this is query documentation. I say OK, and it actually opens a window to that folder, and it opened on my other monitor. The program did that, so I can find the file. So I look at this, I just open it up, and I see it's a Word document. Let me get this more in and maximize it. There's only 2 queries, and neither one of them could execute, so they both have some problems. Hopefully it's not the add-in. Now I'll close the Word document, and I'll just minimize that. So this is that add-in. I could also document forms, reports. I'll close that. The next add-in I'm going to show you is Data Dictionary add-in. So here I can drop down a list, and here's all my tables. So we really quickly looked at these tables when I opened them up to save the size and position. And now one thing I really like about this is if I just want to look, I don't want to have to click on every field in Design View to see more information about it. So here I can see it all at once. I mean, especially size. I mean, you have to go to the field, just to demonstrate. I'll click on Design, and I have to actually click here. Then I can see the size. I can't see it all in a nice list like this. And this also shows you some other property information. It combines format and default value into one column. There's more I want to add to this. And of course, I want to make it for more than just tables. And so I have like a half-baked thing in another database. You can look at another table. Here's the question table. If I click the datasheet view icon, it just opens it up. You can filter this list. Let's say I just want to see everything that has a Q in it. And now I see I have 3 tables that just have a Q. I can also give this a wildcard. So I could do like Q *S. How many times do you want to do that? Put wildcards in the search bar. I mean, the search bar over here is nice, but you can't put wildcards up here. So this lets you put wildcards, and now you see why you want to expand it for more than just tables. That is a free download you can get. I'll close this one. And now for the last one, it's an add-in to color code. Let me go get some code.
Crystal, question on that. The last one, the data dictionary, do you have an export or a print or anything like that for that?
Oh, you know what? Let me just, I'm pretty sure I did have something.
Because I could see that being used for documentation.
Write to text. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm so glad you asked. If you click write to text file and then you pick a table, so I'll just pick this question table. Now it has created this file with the structure that you see below, and you can open this file then. And that's just the comma delimited format if I had chosen CSV, but now I have to pick it again. So I'll pick a different one. Then it just shows you the last file, but once again, it's putting all of these in the same folder that you can open also. Then when you go to open file, it'll actually open it up in Excel. Well, it should have opened it in Excel. Yes. Oh, now it is. Okay, so here it is. Yeah, so yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Maria.
Yeah.
I do use those features. I put them in there for myself. And you can also pick a delimiter. There's more on here, but I don't want to dig in too deep because I'll run out of time. Now I have to close all these. Here, let me just show you what I'm doing. I do have an add-in to close all my modules, but for some reason it only works in the add-in. So that's not very helpful. You'll notice that because these add-ins aren't protected, each time you use one, this is actually a module in the add-in. It's not in the current database. So I ran all these add-ins, so now I have to find my current database code. Let me make this a little bigger. I'm looking for oh, there it is. So that's the example. So this is in the database that I'm demonstrating. I have a not in list event, and I just want to copy this code because maybe I want to share it with somebody. You can pick whether you want to, here, let me collapse that, give this a little more space. Whether you want it, like in BB code, if it has a rich text tag, like Access World Forums does, then I'll just put code in here, and then as soon as I get out of there, there's my code all tagged and ready to post in a post. And so then I can explain it, and it's all formatted, and it has colored the keywords blue. However, I'm not going to be able to show you that, so let me choose HTML. So I'm just going to select everything. So I'm just selecting this. And now let me go over here to this program and make a new file, and I'm going to paste it. And just to show you, this is a Notepad++, and this is HTML, so I can get it to color it. I'm going to save this as, let's see, where do I want it to go? Not there. Hang on, let me get a folder location. Put it here. And I'll just call it that. And now I'll minimize this, and now I'm just going to go over here and see how long it takes to show up. There it is. So I'll open, oh, did I forget an extension? Oh, no, it doesn't have an extension. Okay, so now when I open this, see, so that started out in code that was in VBA that I just either want to put on my web page or I want to put it in a post I'm writing in a forum. And so I can use this little color code add-in that just pops up in whatever database you have open, because it's an add-in and colors the code for you. So let's see. I talked about that one. I did that one. Okay, so that's done with my demo. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually open one of these. And the one we're going to open is the data dictionary, because we're going to get it to document itself. We're going to open an add-in, the data dictionary add-in. Any questions before I continue?
Crystal,
Yes.
I was expecting from the title to hear about how to create an add-in.
Right. Give me 10 minutes. We're going to do that too. I'm just going to document the uses reg info table with the data dictionary so that we can use that to make an add-in, and we're going to make one. So yes, we're going to do that.
Marvelous.
All I'm going to do here is I have a dual installation, so I have to open this with a particular version of Access. So here is the tool, the data dictionary tool, the add-in itself. That is the one I opened, right? Yes. And now I'm going to run the data oh yeah, now you get to see the error. You just have to click this again. Somehow there's some ghost registry entry somewhere that I haven't found yet, creating that error. But here I'm going to document the USys reg info table, and I drop the list and I don't see it. Who can tell me what I can do to see the table?
Is it not there? USys reg info?
Oh, it's here. It's here. I just can't see it. Where is it? How do I see it? That's my question. How do I see a table that starts with USYS?
Oh, when you say how do I see it, you're talking about how do I see it in the left-hand pane rather than...
It's a system table.
Right. Yeah. I need to show the system objects. And if I do that, I usually show the hidden ones too. Now, when I drop this, there's the usage reg info table. And this has the right to file. So I'm going to choose CSV. I have to pick it again, though, to actually get it to do it. And now it's created that file. I'm going to open it up. So this table is paramount to this database being an add-in. Aside from the AccessUserGroups extension, it also has this USys reg info table. I don't know what just happened. I lost control of this. I'm going to have to close this real quick. Let me close that. There's also a couple properties, and I have a mistake on my web page. I'll just go to my web page for a minute and tell you a couple more things about what's on here. So when you build an add-in, let's go to how to create. I also have a section on installing them. We will try and get the one installed that we make. How to create. We want to make a new database or use an existing database. When we're going to create one, we want to rename the extension to AccessUserGroups, show the system objects, create the USys reg info table. Now, I was trying to document it and show you, but I'm just going to skip that because it doesn't work, and I made the template, which has it anyway. And then if desired title, you can also set the company and comments. I'm going to have to use the 3-finger salute to close Access. Oh, I can't even get it. I can't even get the task manager up. Hang on a second. Somebody else say something while I try and close this installation of Access, please.
I was just about to jump in and say we need to do some thumb twiddling, guys, because it's very difficult when you're doing a presentation and something goes wrong. It's very difficult to keep doing the presentation while you're trying to recover things. So let's just chill a bit and allow things to be recovered. Have other people been in situations where they've been doing a presentation and it's all gone horribly wrong?
Horribly, but yeah.
Okay, horribly wrong. Thank you, Adrian. I closed Access. Now, what I have on the website is I have 2 templates. One of them is a template for 2007 and one is a template for 365. I think I'm using 2016, but I really am not as up on all the versions as Maria is. I didn't even know what I was installing. I picked 365 and that's what it put on. I'm like, why did it pick that low version? But anyway, I'm going to copy this file. So I'm just going to press Control C here and I'm just going to paste it here. And this add-in is going to be called, and I'll just start it with add-in also. Add-in. No, I won't. I'll just list shortcut keys. The code that I intend to put in here is when you have a form open and you want to see what all your hotkeys are. Oh, you know what? That's the wrong name. Those aren't shortcut keys. Those are hotkeys. And I have the code wrong too. But at least I can make the file name right. So now I have this that I've created, and I'm going to open it in Access. Where's my USys table? Let me show the system objects. There it is. Open it up, and here I put this USys reg info table into this template for you. And all you have to do now is come over here and copy and paste. And put your code in, of course. So for file name, I'm going to paste the name of the file. Make sure you get that right. I actually pointed out an error on my website if that's wrong. AccessUserGroups, this vertical bar AccessUserGroups, this is going to be changed to the library path where the file goes after it's installed. So luckily you don't have to worry about knowing where that is. What do I want it to do? Okay, I better get some code. Put the code window over here and grab some code. I made a BAS file, so let me import that. Okay, so now it has imported this module that I want to turn into an add-in. And I'll just debug, compile it, save it, and yes. So now here's my function, and this needs to be a public function. List shortcut keys. I'm going to change this. Now that I know that's wrong, now that I know that's not the right thing to call it. And I can't see it way over there. List hotkeys. Okay, let me just replace all. Debug, compile.
Name it.
Oh yeah, you're going to have to go over here on the options under tools. Oh, not options. Under tools and go to your database properties and rename it if you use that blank template. Debug, compile, save, copy this function name. I'm going to come over here, paste this function name in here. I'm just going to put the same thing here. You can add more lines, add more rows to this table. Now the menu name, I'm just going to call it list hotkeys. If I wanted to, I could make one of these a hotkey. Let me zoom this up. And I'm going to put an ampersand here. Now oops, that's not an ampersand. Now what this is before the menu name I gave it is this is going to expand into the registry location where this stuff is stored. And I talk about that on the web page. I probably won't have time to show it to you here today.
Can I mention that if you don't spell add-ins with a capital I, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't? Have you witnessed that?
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. I don't have my presentation window open. Who just said that?
Ben Satcherich.
Oh, Ben, gosh, I wish I would have known where you were on Friday. I spent like literally a whole day and a half trying to figure out why my old add-ins that used to work all of a sudden didn't work. And that was why, is because I didn't have a capital I here. Because in the registry, that's a lowercase. And I finally found somebody that mentioned that. That just fixed it. Thanks for pointing that out. That's a really big, big gotcha.
Do you need to copy that down for the rest of them?
I already did. So if you go to my web page and you go to the errors section, then you'll see the capitalization entry. And I know there's other errors. So Ben, I'm so glad you're connected. If you know some more that I haven't mentioned here, then please share your pearls of wisdom with me so I can update this and put more on there. It's really hard to find how to fix your add-in when it won't work.
Crystal.
Yes.
Quick question, if I may, from the chat window. Giorgio Ravelli, I think. So how do we get hold of these blank templates that you're referring to?
Okay. If you go to... Close that. I'm getting too close to the top. If you go to the Tools menu on the MS Access Guru site and you click Add-ins, the first entry is this page that I have all this information on that I'm talking about.
Oh, it's been posted now, and essentially it's on your web page anyway. So
it's really good to point that out because it's a really terrible problem. I mean, add-ins that used to work okay all of a sudden won't work, and that'll be why. I'm going to go to View and Edit Database Properties. I still have my add-in open. Title My Company, and I'm just going to put this little add-in after it. And my comments about this little add-in. You'll see after we install this, company and comments show up somewhere else.
I'm glad you point that out because I've got some add-ins where I can't figure out where the messages are coming from.
Yeah, that's where.
So, Crystal, in that subkey, does that need to be the same thing copied down or just the first one different?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that would have been a problem. And then I just Control Ditto all the way down. And you also can put more than one menu option in this table. You'd need these first three. These first three you have to have. You have to have a type is 0 with no value name and no value. A type equals 1 for the library, and that's the name of your file and your ACCDA file, and you have to have an expression of what you want it to do. And I just use a VBA procedure here. I don't know if you can use a macro, maybe. I don't think I'd even try that. But most of the time, instead of running a VBA procedure directly, I have this VBA procedure open a form. And that form then has other things it can do. But this is just a simple little add-in that only does one thing.
Question for you, Crystal.
Yeah.
Opening that table back for me, just because the question's about that table.
Yeah.
You've got an HKey current access profile there. I don't know if everyone is familiar with the terminology of the registry, but is that an actual hive? Is that a recognized hive? Because it's not one of the main ones.
Yeah, it's. Let me just move it over. Yeah, it's right here. So any add-in that I have installed, here's my menu add-ins. You can see at the bottom, really tiny print. But this is HKey current user software, Microsoft Office, and then your version number, and -16. Access menu add-ins. And here you see it uses a little I. That's why you'd think you could use a little I in your USys reg info table.
That's a big I. That's a big
eye to me.
I don't know why it couldn't open that one yet. Probably because I still have that other thing open. But here's like an entry for one of the other ones.
Sorry, Crystal, if I can bring you back, that's not a hive, that's a key.
Right, key.
My question's about, is that a hive? I'm guessing from what you're telling me that terminology, that word, if you like, that you've written in your thing that I can't see anymore. There we go. Right, HKey current access profile looks like a hive, and it renames a particular key.
Okay, yeah, no, it's going to expand into where it needs to go, depending on what version you're running in Access and where it just keeps those things.
Yeah.
So
if you go to the registry again, just bear with me. Sorry, I'm not trying to do that.
I closed it. Let me install this. We can go back to that if you want to. Hang on to that thought.
I'll hang on.
Okay, so now I'm going to close this add-in. Now, in order to actually install it, I have to run Access as an administrator. And then I can just open any database. I'm just going to go grab this little example database I was using before. And let me copy the path where that is, put it here. All right, so now I'm going to go to Database Tools, Add-ins. Here's my issue. This is what happened to me, Ben. That little I, it couldn't run it. There was nothing to uninstall, so I get this error. And if I wasn't persistent, I wouldn't have tried it again, but then I'd try it again. Then everything works fine. So I'm going to go to the Add-in Manager, and I'm going to add a new add-in. And let's see, paste the path, list hotkeys. So I'm just going to open that up here. And now I'm going to close this and go here to a form. I have some hotkeys on this form, like the C is underlined and the L is underlined and the A is underlined. Those are all hotkeys. Database Tools, Add-ins. There's my lovely error again. I do it again and go to it's in a bad state. Oh, I know what that problem is. That problem is my file name is wrong. So I must not have made my file name right. Let me go back here real quick to here. Let me first do a rename and not really rename it. Go to open this. Go here and paste that name. I thought I renamed it.
What did you just change? Was it wrong? Was it E?
I don't think so. It could be that I just had to close Access and open it again. I'm just going to run Access as an administrator, just in case it doesn't work.
Crystal, when you installed that add-in, did it copy it to the correct folder, or does it point to the folder you used?
Oh, good point. Good question. Yeah, it copied it.
Okay.
To the correct folder. Let me see if I have that open to show you. Oh, I know the really quick way to find this is I love everything. I love everything. This search tool is just so amazing.
Quick question.
Yeah.
When you install an add-in, does it install it into Access or the current database?
It puts the add-in here. Okay, this is where my add-ins go. These are all my add-ins that are installed or could be installed. I mean, you can uninstall it in Access and it doesn't actually move the file out of here though. But here's all the add-ins. And here's the one that it just put here because I installed it. So that install file from the folder that I started with, that's still there and that's not going to be used.
But it's local, Crystal, to the to Microsoft Access application on your computer. It's not specific to a specific database, correct?
Right, thank you.
When you install the add-in, it's just adding that to the list of available add-ins. But whenever you open Access, those add-ins don't load. They're just like shortcuts sitting there so they can be loaded.
It's because I didn't tell it where to go. I use this vertical bar actor and that automatically puts it in the path. Now, I could have specified exactly where I wanted it to go, but I didn't. I wonder if that was compiled. Oh, you know what? Let me see if this is compiled. Debug. Oh, it is. I just went through this morning and it worked.
No.
There's something else wrong with my add-in, but this is a cool little tool and I didn't even take any screenshots of it. But what it does is for whatever form you have, as you can imagine, this would be really handy to just have, available anytime you have a form. It goes and it records all these shortcut keys. It sorts them into alphabetical order. And then it shows you a message box with the shortcut keys. And then it writes more information about the shortcuts in the debug window. I'm sorry it's not working right. As we're talking, I don't know what else to do to get it to, I guess maybe I could see if the add-in works in the add-in. Something could be wrong with it. I don't actually have any forms in there though. Let me get this database name. Can't stand errors. Oh, well, I'll leave that one. Open with. It's a good idea for you to put what you need to test in your add-in. Oh, I didn't do that. So let me go get some stuff. I'm just going to paste that in there. Undo this first. Navigation options. So I'll just go get everything. I'm not sure what it needs right now, so I'm just going to get it all. And now I'll come over here, debug, compile, and let's just see if the add-in works when it's in itself. So I'll open this form, and now let me go to the code, go here, and press F5. There they are, list hotkeys. So this is what it does. Sorry, I didn't expect this snag, but add-ins are wonderful when they're working, but do expect a little frustration as you're trying to get them to work. Shortcut keys, it lists all the shortcut keys and it says to look at the debug window. So I'll do that. I'll look over here, and here it lists them in a way that I can copy them, and it also tells me the control name that they're on. So I can see that I have 2 for C. One is, they both deal with category. One is for edit and one is for a command button to open that form. Well, I've showed you everything you need to know about creating and installing an add-in, except I haven't showed you how to get it to work. But hopefully you can imagine that part.
Crystal, one question I have is there's several different spots in Access for add-ins. One is on the main tool area under database tools. There's another one, there, which is add-ins.
Which is weird because here, and thanks for pointing that out, here you have to drop this list and choose Access Add-in and then go, and now you get to this same dialog box that I got to by clicking on the ribbon.
I have a problem actually with a COM add-in that I use. Every time Access updates every month, I have to go re-add it as an add-in. So I don't know what that's about.
The file's still there, right?
Yeah, the file's still there. I just have to reselect it as admin.
Right. Well, somebody did make a recommendation. I myself wouldn't do it this way, but you can right-click on the key, the menu add-ins key in the registry, and you can just export that key and all its subkeys, and then you can restore it. I'm not comfortable enough with the registry to do it that way. Adrian, he might do it that way, but I wouldn't.
I was having that issue.
Yeah.
If I can interrupt. And when I exported it, I made a reg file of the 10 add-ins I'm always trying to run. And then I happened to notice that the registry path was different for some add-ins than from others. And I changed them all to be the path of the ones that were working, and I haven't had that problem.
Interesting.
And the problem I was having was every time I would get an Office update, I'd lose half my add-ins.
Good to try. So I also have an add-in I use that's in the VBA window.
In the VBA window, Maria?
Pardon me?
Do they not? I mean, Ben was just saying earlier that every add-in, if it's got code, will appear in your VBA window as well.
Well, this one only appears in my VBA window. It doesn't appear in the others. Yeah, this is the one to add lines.
Right, that's because it's a COM add-in, right? Like if I had VBWatchdog on here, see, VBWatchdog is a COM add-in. And I don't have it listed here because I just had to reset my computer up again. But if I did, it would show up here in VBA because it's a COM add-in.
So you're saying you can't make your own add-ins in Access that go into the VBE editor?
You might be able to if you can. I don't know how. And probably that's what I need to have. I have a add-in to close all the modules, and it works. It works if I import that module and I just run the close all modules in the database that I'm in. It works fine. But that kind of defeats its purpose. I can just click on the X almost faster than I can find it and launch it. I tried to install it as an add-in, and I did. It installed. It just didn't work.
Crystal,
Yeah.
don't worry about hitting the X all the time. Just go to the VBIDE, and hit Control F4 until it all stops. Seconds, if that.
Yeah.
Even easier, hit Control W.
Well, I only had one open. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll have to keep that in mind, because you can just hold down that you can just hold those down and it'll go close.
But Ben mentioned Control W. What's that, Ben?
Control W is a substitute for Control F4 on MDI child Windows. It doesn't work in all applications, but in the older applications it does. And it's easier for me to hit Control W because I don't have to stretch my fingers as far.
Yeah, they're closer.
So you'd have to press and hold Control W is what you're saying?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, right, I'm with you. Sure.
I've created auto hotkeys so I can do Control W in other programs like SQL Server Management Studio and places where it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I like that. I'm going to configure it to work that way.
I can give you my list.
I'm sure your list is perfect for you, Ben.
Oh, please do. Yeah, Ben, I'd love it if you shared your add-ins. Everybody, please just turn your microphones on. Feel free to talk. I'm done with my presentation. I want you to remember that you can go to this page here on MS Access Gurus to learn about add-ins. Pretty much everything I covered is on here, and then I didn't cover other things that you'll see on here. I really want you all to try to make an add-in, something that you just find yourself importing that code a lot, and gosh, it would be really useful if it was just there all the time. Just try to make one. I'm sorry that mine didn't work. I wish you'd been connected to me at 10 o'clock this morning when it did.
Well, if there's anything you find out later that you want to share with us, Crystal, there's a blog post area in the Access Lunchtime group, and I can always post an update on that. But I think we got the gist of how to do it. I'm excited to try it. Does anyone have questions or other comments?
Just a quick comeback to what Crystal said earlier. The address that you were talking about, this one that you're showing, is in the chat window, just so you know.
Right. Thanks for pointing that out. It's also, if you go to AccessUserGroups.org, you can click on the Tools menu. That's what I'm looking at right now. And on the Tools menu, here's this add-ins link. And this takes you to the little set of links. And if Ben gives me anything, I'm going to put his stuff here too. Yeah. Okay. So Colin just said his registry key is a little different.
I think we talked about that earlier. If you use, and that's what Adrian was referring to, even though it's really specific, actual registry, what did you call it? A hive is specific to the version of Access. If you use what Crystal suggested in her USysReg table, that will convert to whatever real hive you need.
Right. Just to clarify on that, Maria, yes, what Colin's just posted is his actual full address. That shortcut that you've got there, HKey current access profile, it's either a hive or it's like a hive. It looks like a hive because it's got the similar
Oh, yes, yes. Thanks for bringing that up. You can actually, just like I used a shortcut over here, the vertical bar actor in the library path, you don't have to use this shortcut over here in the subkey field. You can put whatever you want there, but I prefer not to do it that way, but you're allowed to.
Sure, but that's a much better solution. What you're showing there, Crystal, is a much better solution, because whether it's a shortcut or a hive, a valid hive, it doesn't matter. It gets you to where you need to be.
Right. On the web page, I have a section on this USys reg info table. And just in case you forgot, I'm going to go to the top and I'm going to go to download. I want to remind you that I have the template that I started with. You can download it. So you can get it already with the USys reg info table in it. And hopefully I didn't put a bug in there, and just edit it to be what you want. Put your code and whatever else your application needs in there. If I go to these add-ins over here, you can open all of these data dictionary. It's completely, open. So you can see all the code. You can see the USys reg info table. And I filled out a lot more database properties too.
Sure. No, it's good to have examples there. So that's, excellent.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Now I can see everyone.
I have to say, I'm really pleased. I think Peter B is probably Peter Bryant, but there's so many names here that I've seen the names of before but never met, like Ben Sacharich, and Colin. I know I've spoken with a couple of times, but I've never actually seen before, and we've talked in a meeting before, but I've never seen his video before. It's on there earlier. Others, Leo, the DB guy. I've known for ages and ages, but never met up with. So I'm really pleased
to see the big green giant.
Well, this is clearly an advanced users topic. Thank you so much, Crystal. This has been very educational today. I really appreciate you sharing all your knowledge with us and your available website with all the reference materials to go back and try this out ourselves. I do want to also mention that next month, again, it's always the last Tuesday of every month at noon Central Time. Next month, we are going to have Dale Fye presenting, and he is going to talk about Access Shortcut tool that he has developed. It'll easily create right-click menus and shortcut tools. So that should be interesting as well. Join us next month.
Is that an add-in? Do you know, Maria?
I believe so.
Sounds interesting.
He just calls it a tool, but
Sure.
Tune in to find out next month.
Right, it is an add-in, but I think he has an add-in that he doesn't let you see the code for, but he's going to show us code if we, want him to. So that would be really good to see the nuts and bolts of actually how it works.
Right.
Sounds like fun.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Please join us next month. Have a great day.
I plan to. Thanks, Maria. Finished in time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks very much, Crystal, and everybody else.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And Maria, thanks for asking me.